welcome back to Footsteps.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Sarah.
Today we're going to be looking at the Battle of Jericho. It was spring, the snows had melted on the rivers in the north, and the River Jordan overflowed its banks. The people of Israel prepared to cross the river. There was no food and no ford, but God had told them this was the day when they must go across. The priests were in front with a special box that held God's laws, and the people watched to see what would happen. As they stepped into the river, there was a distant roar, and the water level fell. Upstream, the river banks collapsed, damming the whole stream. The waters began to pile up, but near Jericho, the Israelites were able to walk across the riverbed. God, who had brought them out of Egypt, had shown his power again to bring them into the promised land. When the people were safely across, they carried 12 stones from the riverbed, one for each of the tribes, and they heaped them onto the bank. "Let these stones be a sign," God said, "and when your children see them in years to come, you can tell them the wonderful way I brought you into this land." Then the waters broke through the dam and filled the river again till it overflowed its banks, just as before. Only the heap of stones remained to show what had happened. The Israelites set up the camp near Jericho. It was time for the feast of the Passover. The following day they made bread and for the first time roasted corn grown in Canaan, the promised land. From that day on there was no manna, for their time in the desert was over. Now they would enjoy all the fruits of the land. Jericho was a city with a long history. It was surrounded by high walls which were many feet thick. Now the town gates were shut and barred. No one could get in or out because of the Israelites. God spoke to Joshua. "Jericho is yours. I will give you the city, its king, and all its great men. That is what you must do. Every day for 6 days you must march around the city. 7 priests must walk in front of the men who are carrying my special box, sounding their trumpets. The rest must march in silence. On the 7th day you to walk around the city 7 times. And when the trumpets sound, let the people give a great shout. The city walls will collapse, and Jericho will be yours." Joshua gave the people their orders, and they did exactly as God had told them. On the 7th day, they marched round 7 times. The trumpets sounded, and Joshua said to the people, "Shout, for God has given us the city." So they gave us a great shout, and the walls crashed down. Then they went in and took the city.
Today we're going to make our own horn.
I don't think it was much like this in the days of Jericho, but we're going to make something a bit like this. Sarah, can I go at blowing it? I hope you make a better sound with yours.
We're going to start with a piece of paper. Do you move the horn up? So we're going to roll it up. So it's narrow at one end, but still with a gap, and larger at the other end. And then you'll need somebody to put some sellotape on it to keep it secure. And you might want to decorate yours. What should we put on ours?
You could put musical notes on it. Can you draw them?
I can.
That's very small.
Yours might have lots more than I'm doing, but I'm just doing a few. And then you're ready to try and blow the walls of Jericho down with your horn. See you next week.
Bye.